Late this month, our parks began to reopen at the tail end of a great wildflower season. In a whirl of excitement, I headed out to Wabash Trails Park, a 250-acre preserve a couple miles outside my hometown of Vincennes, Indiana. I've always had an affinity for the location. My dad actually helped build it as a teenager in the 1980s, and I thought it would be the perfect place to savor the wood's last breath of blooms. I'm here at Wabash Trails Park in Vincennes, Indiana. It's really a natural treasure. Very nice rolling hills, shaded woodland, old growth, lots of things I think I can use to harness the last of the wildflower season. In this video, I mostly just wanted to show off the area, talk about my process a little bit while I make a photo in a location I've been scouting out for a while. Maybe just talk about some common issues with taking this kind of photo and offer out a few tips. Let's go explore the woods. Starting out my hike here on Trail 3, we'll pop over a couple hills and I'll come out into a meadow scene with some wildflowers that I've been coming out and studying for the last few days. When I'm working in particularly chaotic environments like the woods, one technique that I found is helping me in this particular location is eliminating the shadows from the scene. The presence of shadows in a forest scene essentially double the complexity of the scene. Every object in the scene has a shadow. So that's why I'm here when it's kind of dark here in the woods. Photographing this scene would be good in overcast light, or in this case after the sun is set over the hill and the scene's in shade and all the light is even and there are no shadows. The issue with shooting in the woods in these kind of conditions is it's very dark and there are a lot of technical challenges with that. For example, I'm going to have some very long shutter times, which is going to make the pictures blurry whenever the breeze or wind blows through the meadow. That's one of the reasons I've come back so many times trying to recreate this photograph. But today we've got a nice still day and maybe I'll have some luck. Okay, this little meadow is my spot. It's got all my favorite stuff. Flowers. It's got a hollowed out tree. You know I'm a fan. Where's it? Got everything set up for the shot. You can see I'm here wearing this light windbreaker. Light windbreaker like this is really good to redirect all the insect bites directly to your face. Alright, I'll walk you through the setup of this shot. So I've got it framed up basically about how I want the flowers down here and leading through with this fallen branch and back to some more trees in the background. First thing that stands out to me is color temperature. I'm going to manually change that to, I'll just flip it till it looks about right. I can just look up at the scene, see what it looks like, down at the camera, verify it matches. It might be a little warm. 6200 Kelvin looks about right. And another really common problem with this particular type of scene with objects really close to the camera, those are the flowers. Here's the lens, and a scene that it stretches far out ad infinitum is getting focus right. And how I'll usually handle that for this particular type of scene is put the camera in manual focus. There it is. And then I'll use the depth of field preview, magnify in on the closest object that I need to maintain sharpness, which will be these flowers. And then I will engage the depth of field preview. Right now I'm at f16. And then I'll just focus out towards infinity until it just starts to go soft, and back it out a little bit. Come out of magnification and then zoom in on the most distant object that I want to preserve detail in. Do the same thing, engage the depth of field preview, come back out of magnification, and there we've got color and focus dialed in perfectly. Take the shot, look at that, pinch to zoom. That's so nice. I'll just take the path, the same path my eyes would take, right through the frame, and verify that everything's in focus front to back. By in focus, I just mean acceptably sharp. A little soft in the back, but that's no big deal. Sometimes if the camera is too close to your close foreground object, you won't be able to get, no matter how much you stop down, you won't be able to get everything in focus. And with this lens in particular, that I've been using it for about 3 years, I know that past f/16, it's garbage, especially for detailed scenes like this. So if that was the case, then I would probably either lean into the shallow depth of field by just focusing on the foreground object and letting the background go soft. I'll show you a picture where I might use that. And if I absolutely had to have the background sharp, then I'd have to take 2 separate pictures using separate focal points, meticulously blend them together in Photoshop, and I'll show you a picture. Actually, I've got a good one in mind. I'll show you a picture where I did that. Oh, there's a deer. There's a deer. Before I was so rudely interrupted by that fur monster, I was trying to say that shallow depth of field can work nicely in the woods to accentuate a detail, like this spurt growing out of a fallen trunk in Illinois, or this menage a trees in the Hoh National Rainforest in Washington. And of course, detailed flowered shots always look nice with a little bokeh. But this is an example of a focal point blend that gives equivalent focal attention to the foreground and background. I made this last year at Wabash Trails, and there's a print of it hanging in one of our local mayor's offices, but there should be one hanging on your wall. Go to my website, mattramsey.gallery, and browse the Wildflowers gallery in my signature decor series to get an affordable decor print delivered straight from my print lab partner. A piece of my local work on your wall puts some food in my pantry. As for the photo you've been watching me take, well, it's up for grabs too, but why don't you enjoy a look right now while you're here. The sloping hilltop basks in the glimmer of reflected evening light breaking through the canopy. Lower in the frame, our solitary wildflower stands cradled in the arms of the fallen branch. I finished this one off with a circle mat with elements that break through to accentuate the wild geometry of the scene. I'll only be printing one of these, and you can purchase it from the handmade prints link on my website. Okay, back to the video. I've got everything I need for the photo I came to take, and just to savor the last of the flowers before they disappear, believe it or not, there were so many more here just a few days ago. I'll probably just wander around with the camera, catch some little intimate photos, and then call it a day. Well, I'm about out of light, and the flowers are closing up for one of the last times of the year. I think that's about a wrap for Wildflower season 2020. Thanks for tagging along. I'll catch you guys later.